Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me and listen to me well. Success is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do consistently. The problem isn't that you don't have potential. The problem isn't that you don't have the knowledge. The problem is that you start strong and then stop when it gets uncomfortable. Success is not something that happens overnight. It is not a lucky break, a one-time effort, or a moment of inspiration that suddenly changes everything. Success is built on the foundation of small, consistent actions repeated over time, even when there is no visible progress. The biggest mistake people make is believing that they can work hard for a short period and expect lifelong results. But the truth is, occasional effort produces occasional results, while consistent effort creates lasting transformation. The most successful individuals in any field understand this principle and commit to it relentlessly. One of the greatest myths about success is that it is reserved for the most talented, the smartest, or those born into privilege. While talent and intelligence can give someone an advantage, they mean nothing without consistency. How many people do you know who have incredible potential but never achieve anything great? It is because they work in bursts. They push hard for a few days, maybe even a few months, and then they stop. They let distractions, laziness, and self-doubt take over, and before they know it, they are right back where they started. Meanwhile, the person who may not have started with the most talent but remained consistent continues to move forward, surpassing those who once seemed ahead. Consistency is the great equalizer. It allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary things. It eliminates the illusion that success is based on luck or privilege. When you show up every single day doing the work, improving little by little, the gap between you and everyone else starts to widen. You might not see the results immediately, but over time, the compound effect of your efforts becomes undeniable. The person who exercises every day for a year will always be in better shape than the person who goes to the gym once a month and complains about not seeing progress. The entrepreneur who consistently learns, adapts, and executes will always outperform the one who waits for the perfect moment to take action. The real challenge of consistency is not in the beginning. It is easy to start something new when motivation is high. The excitement of a new goal fuels energy, making the work feel effortless. But as time goes on, that initial excitement fades, and this is where most people quit. They assume that because they don't feel the same energy as before, they are no longer on the right path. They start looking for something new, something easier, something that doesn't require as much effort. What they fail to realize is that success is not about how you feel, it's about what you do, regardless of how you feel. The people who win are the ones who push through the moments of boredom, discouragement, and exhaustion. One of the greatest lessons of consistency is that it builds momentum. At first, progress feels slow, almost invisible. It can feel like nothing is changing, like all the effort is wasted. But what most people don't understand is that success works like a snowball. At first, it's small and barely moving, but as it continues rolling, it gets bigger and faster, gaining unstoppable force. The person who stays consistent will eventually reach a point where their progress becomes exponential. The work they put in at the beginning starts paying off in ways they never imagined, and suddenly they find themselves achieving goals that once seemed impossible. Consistency also creates identity. When you consistently do something, you start to see yourself differently. A person who reads every day eventually stops seeing themselves as someone who is just trying to learn. They see themselves as a reader, a person who values knowledge. Someone who exercises daily doesn't just feel like they are working toward a goal. They see themselves as an athlete, as someone who prioritizes their health. When you force yourself to be consistent, you are not just changing your habits, you are changing your identity. And that is what makes the results permanent. Many people struggle with consistency because they expect instant gratification. They want to see results immediately, and when they don't, they lose faith in the process. But true success is not about immediate results. It's about long-term transformation. It's about laying a brick every single day, even when the wall isn't built yet. It's about showing up even when no one is watching, even when there's no applause, even when it feels like nothing is working. Those who embrace this mindset understand that success is inevitable if they simply refuse to quit. There will always be obstacles, challenges, and moments of doubt. Life will test your commitment, but every time you choose to stay consistent instead of giving in to excuses, you are strengthening your discipline, your character, and your ability to achieve what others won't. Success does not belong to the most gifted or the most fortunate. It belongs to those who show up day in and day out, no matter what. Taking action when motivation is high is easy. When you're excited about a new goal, the energy flows effortlessly and the work doesn't feel like work. But what happens when the excitement fades? What happens when you wake up tired, discouraged, or uncertain? This is where the real difference is made. Winners don't just take action when they feel like it, they take action regardless of how they feel. They understand that feelings are temporary, but habits shape their future. They don't wait for motivation to strike, they create their own momentum by committing to action no matter what. Most people operate on emotion. They let their feelings dictate their behavior. If they feel inspired, they work hard. If they feel tired, they take a break. If they feel discouraged, they slow down or stop altogether. This cycle of emotional decision-making is why most people never reach their full potential. The moment they don't feel like doing something, they justify inaction. But winners understand that emotions are fleeting. They know that the only way to create lasting success is to act despite emotions, to push through resistance, and to show up even on the days when they would rather quit. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders all have one thing in common: discipline. They have trained themselves to separate feelings from actions. They don't rely on motivation because they know it's unreliable. Instead, they operate from commitment. They decide in advance that they will take action whether they feel like it or not. This is why they rise above the rest. While others stop when it's uncomfortable, they keep moving forward. While others wait for the perfect moment, they create the moment by taking action. While others let excuses control them, they take control of their choices and push through. It is in the moments of discomfort that champions are made. Anybody can work hard when they are feeling good, but the ones who succeed at the highest level are those who work hard even when they are exhausted, unmotivated, or uninspired. They have trained their minds to see action as a non-negotiable, not something based on how they feel at the moment. When everyone else is looking for reasons to stop, they are looking for reasons to keep going. And because they keep going when others quit, they eventually separate themselves from the crowd. Taking action when you don't feel like it builds an unstoppable level of mental toughness. It conditions your mind to push through discomfort, to reject excuses, and to develop resilience. Over time, this discipline compounds, and what once felt difficult becomes second nature. The people who are consistent, regardless of how they feel, are the ones who develop the ability to handle pressure, adapt to challenges, and achieve extraordinary results. They are not controlled by their emotions. They control their emotions by deciding to take action no matter what. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they stop. They let their temporary emotions override their long-term vision. They allow fear, doubt, and laziness to dictate their actions. Winners, on the other hand, understand that feelings come and go, but habits last. They choose to do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like it. And the more they do this, the stronger they become. They create a mindset that refuses to surrender to weakness, and as a result, They accomplish what others only dream about. This level of discipline applies to every area of life. The student who studies, even when they don't feel like it, outperforms the one who studies only when inspired. The business owner who keeps marketing and selling, even when they don't see immediate results, eventually builds an empire. The athlete who trains, even on days when they feel exhausted, becomes the champion. The truth is, success is never about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you are willing to do despite how you feel. And the ones who win are the ones who take action consistently, no matter what. The ability to take action regardless of emotions is the ultimate key to success. It is what separates the great from the average. Those who wait for motivation will always be at the mercy of their emotions, but those who develop the discipline to act in spite of their feelings will always be in control of their destiny. Every time you push past resistance, every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you are strengthening your ability to succeed. Winners take action even when they don't feel like it, and because of that, they achieve what most people never will. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. They fail because they allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They wake up in the morning with plans to work hard, chase their goals, and push themselves beyond their comfort zones, but the moment discomfort sets in, they start negotiating with themselves. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, that they deserve a break, that they need to feel more prepared before they take action. Instead of taking control of their emotions, they let their emotions take control of them, and in doing so, they delay their success. The mind is a master at justifying inaction. It will always find an excuse to avoid hard work, discomfort, or risk. When fear creeps in, it whispers, maybe this isn't the right time. When laziness takes over, it says, you've worked hard enough, take a break. When doubt arises, it convinces you, maybe you're not good enough. These thoughts aren't facts. They are emotions in disguise, designed to keep you comfortable and safe. But success is not found in comfort. Success is found in the moments when you refuse to listen to those excuses and take action anyway. Negotiating with your emotions is dangerous because it creates inconsistency. One day, you're all in, fired up, ready to conquer the world. The next day, you're tired, unmotivated, and suddenly everything seems too hard. You tell yourself you'll start again on Monday, next week, next month. Before you know it, weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, and you're still in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. The truth is, every time you choose comfort over progress, you reinforce the habit of quitting. You train yourself to only work when it's easy, and that is the fastest way to failure. Winners don't allow their emotions to have a vote. They have already made the decision in advance that they will show up and do the work no matter what. They don't waste energy debating whether they feel like it because they know that feelings are unreliable. Some days they feel excited and motivated, and some days they don't, but their actions remain the same. This is why they succeed where others fail. They have built a level of discipline that overrides emotions, and that discipline allows them to stay consistent long after everyone else has given up. The people who fail are not necessarily less capable. In fact, many of them have the potential to be great. But potential means nothing without execution, and execution requires the ability to act despite emotions. Most people never reach their potential because they are trapped in the cycle of waiting until they feel ready. They let fear stop them from taking risks. They let laziness stop them from putting in the work. They let doubt stop them from believing in themselves. And with each moment of hesitation, they fall further behind those who simply refuse to negotiate with their emotions. Every time you negotiate with your emotions, you strengthen the habit of procrastination. You make it easier to quit the next time discomfort shows up. You give power to your doubts, fears, and insecurities, and before you realize it, they are running your life. But the opposite is also true. Every time you push past resistance, every time you act despite how you feel, you build mental strength. You train yourself to be disciplined, resilient, and Success is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the decision to move forward no matter what. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people commit to their goals without allowing emotions to interfere. They treat discipline like a muscle and they strengthen it every single day. When they feel tired, they still work. When they feel afraid, they still take action. When they feel uncertain, they still move forward. Over time, this habit of pushing through emotions compounds into something powerful, momentum. And once momentum is built, success becomes inevitable. Failure is not a lack of ability, it is a lack of discipline. It is the result of too many negotiations with fear, doubt, and laziness. The people who win in life are not the ones who never feel tired, discouraged, or afraid. They are the ones who refuse to let those emotions make decisions for them. They understand that their future is shaped by their actions, not their feelings. And because of that, they take control of their destiny instead of letting their emotions control them. Talent is often overrated. Intelligence is valuable, but it is not enough. Motivation comes and goes like the wind. What truly separates those who achieve extraordinary success from those who fall short is consistency. The ability to show up every single day, put in the work, and stay committed to a vision even when the results aren't immediate is what makes the difference. Many people rely on talent, thinking it will carry them to success, but talent without consistency is wasted potential. The world is filled with talented individuals who never fulfilled their purpose simply because they lacked the discipline to keep going when things got tough. Intelligence can give you an advantage, but it does not guarantee success. A person can be highly intelligent, full of ideas and strategies, but if they fail to take consistent action, their intelligence is meaningless. Execution is always more powerful than ideas. The smartest people in the world still have to take action daily, practice their craft, and refine their skills over time. Knowledge without action is useless. The person who studies but never applies what they learn will always be surpassed by the one who takes consistent action, learns from experience, and improves every single day. Motivation is one of the most unreliable tools for success because it is based on emotions. Some days motivation is high and everything feels easy. Other days it disappears and the work becomes a struggle. Those who rely on motivation will always be inconsistent because they will only work when they feel inspired. But the most successful individuals understand that motivation is a luxury, not a necessity. They don't wait to feel like doing the work. They do it whether they feel like it or not. Over time, this discipline creates unstoppable momentum. And momentum is far more valuable than motivation. Consistency creates mastery. Repetition is the key to excellence in any field. The greatest athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, and leaders are not the ones who occasionally put in effort. They are the ones who practice relentlessly, refining their craft every single day. The difference between an amateur and a professional is not talent. It is the number of hours spent honing their skills. The person who trains every day, even if they start with no talent, will eventually outperform the naturally gifted individual who only practices when they feel like it. One of the greatest advantages of consistency is that it builds trust, both with yourself and with others. When you consistently show up and do what you say you will do, you develop confidence in your own ability to follow through. You eliminate self-doubt because you prove to yourself time and time again that you are reliable. Others will also take notice. People trust those who are consistent, whether in business, relationships, or leadership. The individual who delivers results over and over again will always be valued more than the one who is unpredictable and inconsistent. Consistency also compounds over time. Small actions repeated daily lead to massive results. The person who saves a little money every day will build wealth. The person who exercises daily will achieve peak physical health. The person who learns a little every day will become highly knowledgeable. The problem is that most people do not have the patience to wait for results. They start strong, but when they don't see immediate success, they quit. What they fail to realize is that success works like a snowball. It starts small, but as long as you keep rolling it, it gets bigger and bigger. Failure is rarely the result of a single mistake. It is almost always a result of inconsistency. A person doesn't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they quit too soon. They stop pushing, stop improving, and stop showing up. Meanwhile, the one who refuses to stop continues to grow, to refine their skills, and to gain experience. Over time, the consistent individual rises to the top, while the inconsistent one remains stuck, wondering why they never reach their potential. Success is not about being the smartest, the most talented, or the most motivated. It is about being the most consistent. It is about having the discipline to keep going when others stop, to put in the work every single day, even when it's difficult, and to trust the process even when the results are not immediate. The person who stays committed, who refuses to quit, and who continues to show up, no matter what, will always surpass those who rely on talent, intelligence, or fleeting motivation. Discipline is never comfortable. It requires sacrifice, effort, and persistence, even when every part of you wants to take the easier route. Waking up early when you want to sleep in, saying no to distractions when your friends are having fun, pushing yourself beyond your limits when your body and mind beg you to stop. These are the moments when discipline feels like pain. But that pain is temporary. It is the price you pay to become stronger, smarter, and more capable. Every time you push through discomfort and choose discipline over ease, you are investing in a future that is far greater than the momentary suffering you endure. Regret, on the other hand, is far worse. It lingers long after the opportunity has passed, after the window for success has closed, and after the realization sets in that you could have done more. Regret is the voice in your head that reminds you of all the times you quit, all the chances you didn't take, and all the goals you abandoned because you weren't willing to be disciplined. Unlike the pain of discipline, which strengthens you, the pain of regret weakens you. It drains your confidence, fills you with doubt, and makes you wish you could go back in time to change your choices. But the cruel truth about regret is that it cannot be People often avoid discipline because they fear short-term discomfort. They tell themselves it's too hard, too inconvenient, or too painful to stay consistent. But what they fail to realize is that by avoiding discipline, they are setting themselves up for a much greater pain. The pain of looking back on a life of wasted potential. The momentary pain of discipline is always less than the lasting pain of knowing you settled for less than you were capable of achieving. One fades with time, while the other stays with you forever, a constant reminder of what could have been. Success demands a price, and that price is discipline. Whether it's in your career, your health, your relationships, or your personal growth, nothing great is achieved without consistent effort. The people who reach their highest potential are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who chose discipline when others chose comfort. They endured the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, and the struggles because they understood that the short-term pain of discipline was a small price to pay for the long-term rewards of success. Regret, however, demands a much heavier price. It doesn't just take away your dreams, it steals your peace of mind. It fills your heart with what-ifs and your mind with self-doubt. It keeps you stuck in the past, replaying your mistakes, wishing you had done things differently. Unlike the pain of discipline, which leads to growth, the pain of regret only leads to frustration and disappointment. It leaves you wondering how your life could have been different if only you had been willing to push a little harder, stay a little longer, and commit a little deeper. Discipline gives you control over your future, while regret takes that control away. Every time you choose discipline, you are building a life that you can be proud of. You are creating habits that lead to strength, confidence, and success. But every time you choose to avoid discipline, you are allowing regret to take root, setting yourself up for a future where you will wish you had done more. The truth is, you will always experience pain in life. It will either be the temporary pain of discipline or the permanent pain of regret. The choice is always yours. Most people don't understand how painful regret really is until it's too late. They think they have time. They believe they can start tomorrow, next week, next year. But time is unforgiving. One day they wake up and realize that the opportunities they once had are gone. The dreams they once chased are out of reach, and the goals they once set have been forgotten. At that moment, they finally understand that discipline was never the enemy. Procrastination, and by the time they are ready to be disciplined, the chance to do something great has already passed them by. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Every difficult workout, every late night study session, every extra hour of work, every sacrifice, it all adds up to a life without regret. The struggle you endure today is the strength you gain tomorrow. The discomfort you feel now is the